Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay, Wisconsin, here to talk Green Bay Packers this evening. Hopefully everybody had an awesome Saturday. Got a really, really good show for y'all lined up. We're going to talk offensive line adjustments coming into the second quarter of the season. I want to get Tim's take on it. I want to know what the chat thinks. How should we approach the offensive line struggles up to this point in the season? Obviously, they played a little bit better against Dallas as opposed to Cleveland and the week before. But really excited to kind of talk about where each player should play, which position should each player be, and that type of thing. I'm going to shuffle things up a little bit. And like I said, I want to get Tim's take on that. Then we'll talk the top Green Bay Packers through the first 4 weeks of the season in terms of PFF, and we may do a little cross-checking with NFL Pro as well. Before we dive into that, you guys do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We are fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, pregame shows, postgame shows, film breakdown, the whole 9 yards, make sure you click subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live. And appreciate y'all joining us this evening. Tim, man, I was just telling Tim offline, everybody. Just had a house full of people here. We had about 20 people here. I'm exhausted knowing I'm not a people person. And I just ate about a pound of ice cream cake from Dairy Queen, sponsor of the show. And yeah, it's going to be hard to stay awake. Tim, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm with you, man. It's one of those days, right? Sometimes catches up with you quicker than usual when you get older like us, right?
You ain't kidding, man. To bring on the Tums, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'll be in there breaking out the Tums here in a little bit. But
hey, but that DQ ice cream cake is undefeated, though, for sure.
So good, man. I ate that first piece, and it was a healthy piece. And I said, I know I'm going to regret it, but I'm going back in. And I went back in for another slice. Halfway through that second slice, I said, I'm regretting it. And I just kept on eating. You know what I mean? So here we are. Now you got to take your medicine. So, all right. I'll tell you somebody, a group of folks that could probably put down some ice cream cake, and that's the offensive line for the Green Bay Packers. I guarantee you that. Let's talk about some of these struggles here, Tim. Now, listen, I don't think it's a catastrophical struggle for the Packers. Some people talk about the offensive line like they're absolutely horrible. I don't see it that way personally. I kind of feel like defenses have our number in terms of defending the run right now. And I think we're going to make some adjustments coming out of the bye. Maybe we'll go with a little more flow, a little more stretch, a little more zone look, and then get some boot flow coming off of that. I'm hoping we go that route. But it's obvious we picked up right where we left off last year, looking to run some duo, run in between the tackles a lot, and having a puller a time or two. And it just seems like defenses have caught on to us. I think that's the majority of what's going on with the offensive line. That, and of course, the thing that the haters don't want to talk about are the injuries. Tim, this offensive line been banged up since training camp. I know you were boots on the ground all camp long. Am I wrong? Were they not rotating guys in and out of every position constantly because of injuries and holdouts and everything else?
Yep, that's a true statement. And, it will affect your football team, well into the season, right? Preseason is laying the groundwork. Training camp is laying that groundwork. And when you got guys holding in or holding out, or you got guys that are injured, it's tough to get any kind of continuity going. And, here we are on the bye, and we're still talking about, O-line issues. And, it's a testament to your preparation and just kind of part of the game, right? It's what happens. And I think we'll figure it out. But you're right. I think a lot of it may be due to the fact that there's a lot on tape, to this point, and teams may have figured out a lot of what Matt LaFleur's trying to do with this offense. And when you're banged up and you've got personnel, switching around all the time, it's hard to be consistent. It really is.
No doubt about it. Badger Trio in the chat says the O-line looked good second half last week versus Dallas. Completely agree, Trio. They seem to get the running game cranked up pretty nice there in the second half. And I think they're going to pick up where they left off there, to be honest with you. I think that they're ready to turn the corner. Let's talk about who should be starting on this offensive line. Obviously, you got Zach Tom going to be looking to come back from injury. I don't know if it'll be this week, but week 6 against the Bengals, or for it to be the following week. Obviously, he didn't go on the 4-week IR as Aaron Banks didn't as well. So I imagine he's going to be back sooner rather than later. So what I did, Tim, was just put a little article together here on our Patreon group, our website. And I put starting 5. Okay, well, fixing the Packers' early season offensive line struggles. You can check this out, patreon.com/Packer fan total access. So starting 5, throw draft status out the window. All right. And the reason I say that is because we do get caught up in, okay, this guy was drafted higher than that guy, therefore he should be starting. I hope the coaching staff doesn't see it like that. I think the general manager sometimes, and this isn't a shot at Goody, I think across the league, GMs, if they had their say, Tim, they want their early round picks getting an opportunity to be on the field, because if for some reason the team struggles and your first round pick wasn't good enough to crack the starting lineup, and now the ownership, in our case, the board, right, and of course, Ed Policy, would start to look down and go, boy, did we whiff on that? Did we whiff on that draft? If they're not even seeing the field, So what I say is throw the draft status out the window, right? The Green Bay Packers starting offensive line has faced significant challenges early in the 25 season, primarily due to injuries and lack of continuity. The intended starting 5 has been average at best. Here is the starting 5 Green Bay needs to roll with versus Cincy, barring any injury setbacks. So, Tim, let's assume everybody's healthy. This is the offensive line I would like to see out there. Rasheed Walker, left tackle, left guard Aaron Banks, center Elton Jenkins, right guard Darian Kennard, and, of course, right tackle Zach Tom. All right, so when you're talking about starting at right guard, Darian Kennard should start at right guard over Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan until he proves he can't handle it. So far, Kennard has been arguably the best offensive lineman, not named Zach Tom. Guys, his PFF grade is a 77.6, and the big thing, Tim, what are we struggling running the ball, right? His run blocking grade, 90.1. That's second best amongst tackles in the league. I say keep him on that right side, but I would like to see him get an opportunity at right guard over both Sean Ryan and Jordan Morgan. And again, we'll get to Jordan Morgan in a second. You guys know, cat's out of the bag. I think he is strictly a left side offensive lineman, and really specifically a left tackle. But what do you think about that starting 5? And what a pleasant surprise here, man. Goody went out and just traded. What did he trade? A 7th-round pick for this former 5th-round pick, and he seems to have hit on Darian Kennard here, man.
I believe so, right? And you get a little bit of experience too, and the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, you're right. Look at the run blocking grade alone. That's something we've struggled with. And, you need guys like this. You need pieces on your O-line that can run block if we want to get this run game going. I think going back to your suggested starting 5, yeah, that's noticeable, right? Names like Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan are not on this list. But I think, if Zach Tom is healthy, right, that's a big one, right? Going into the Cincy game next week, that's going to be huge. But assuming that he's good to go, I think this might be the formula you want to roll with. And then you feel good about guys like Morgan and Sean Ryan coming off the bench as your backups. This would be our best foot forward. I agree with this assessment here. Rasheed Walker caught a lot of heat, for his performance against Dallas. And honestly, I think, he had a couple of plays that he kind of got dog walked, and, Jordan had some pressure, but nothing that makes you want to, jump out the window and say, hey, we need to make a change at left tackle. So I think going forward, this is a good move. And, you talk about Kennard and particularly Aaron Banks as well, another great pickup by Goody. I think this is probably the best formula going forward out of the bye week.
Yeah. And again, left tackle is a little more sensitive for me, because I could see a scenario where if he continues to struggle, Rasheed Walker, like you said, he did get dog walked the other night. If he continues to struggle, what would it hurt to give Jordan Morgan an opportunity to build off what we've seen in training camp and in the preseason of him playing left tackle? That's definitely his more comfortable spot. We'll get into that in a second. So again, left tackle Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks at left guard. Some people are seeing that and going, McClayton, man, Aaron Banks ain't played good. I agree. However, he's been banged up since he got here. He's been dealing with the back, been dealing with other injuries. So I'm simply saying that barring any injuries, let's say that Aaron Banks is healthy as he's ever been in his career coming out of the bye or whenever he gets his next start. If that's the case, let's give him an opportunity to win that, to keep that left guard spot. So I would roll with Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Darian Kennard, and Zach Tom. And again, the big change there, like we said, was Darian Kennard starting at right guard. Guys, he may go out there and lay an egg And it may prove that Sean Ryan is much better than him, or Jordan Morgan's better than him at right guard. I'm just tired of seeing Jordan Morgan. It's obvious he is not a right side lineman. And that's not a knock on him. Just because you're a first round pick, Brian Bulaga was a great offensive lineman. They drafted him and put him at guard, and he was cheeks. Yep. And they drafted him to play left tackle. Well, guess what? He settled in at right tackle and ended up being the right tackle of the future, you know? So,
and Kennard gives us that versatility too. Like, let's assume maybe, or not assume, but let's say Zach Tom's not ready to go, you know? Maybe Kennard is an option at right tackle, and you put Sean Ryan back at right guard. Who knows?
And Coach Lynn makes a great point. He said Jordan Morgan looks solid at left guard. That what I seen on tape, Coach, I think I would tend to agree with you more than the masses. The masses out there disagree with both of us, but there were several times we've seen on tape, and one of the plays made Chalk talk, if you'll remember, Tim, where he kicked out there and sealed off a run. That was an explosive run of like 20 yards or whatever it was. So I thought he played pretty good at left guard as well. I'm just simply saying you paid Aaron Banks that money for 1 year. It's essentially a 3-year deal. It's really a 1-year deal. Give him an opportunity to prove what you thought you've seen in him. And Jordan Morgan would definitely be my next choice there for sure.
I would agree 100%. I mean, we've seen Jordan Morgan everywhere but center. I mean, we even did get a glimpse of him at center a few times during camp, right? Mm-hmm. And clearly he's a left side lineman. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And Jen Wright says, can Kennard play anything else but tackle? I haven't dove too much into his history, Jen. And obviously he didn't play a whole lot of snaps in Philly. He was on the bench for one of the best offensive lines in the game. But I have a lot more faith in him being able to play guard as opposed to left tackle. You know, that's the big thing. Typically a guy can play on the interior if they're staying on that side of the ball, that side of the center, you know? So that's why I'm open to trying this over to Sean Ryan, because guys, you know, I know there's some people that probably believe that Sean Ryan's played good football, and you know, you don't hear his name called a lot, which is a good thing as an offensive lineman. But one of the analytics, one of the stats that got dropped to me here, if I could find it real quick, our buddy Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers. I think I missed the super chat. I apologize. I'm going to get that next, guys. I apologize for that. He sent me a chart, and it talks about where they're running the football across the league. And when you looked at the graph, and I'm not going to pull it up on the screen here, but everything is in the green for the Packers in terms of off tackle, off left guard, A gap left, B gap or A gap right is good, off the outside shoulder of the guard. So B gap right side, which is predominantly closest to the right guard, that's the only place that was in the red. Everything else is in the green. So when it comes to running the football, where the Packers are struggling the most is running on the outside shoulder of the guard, in the B gap, in between the guard and the tackle on the right side. That's why I would like to see you got a guy that's got the second highest run blocking grade amongst tackles in a 90.1. When Zach Tom's healthy, you bring him back and put Darian Kennard at right guard. That may be able to fix that problem that, like I said, what Aaron had shared with me. And let me hit the super chat, or did I? Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, I apologize for that, Tree. I just now seen it, man. My bad. He said, imagine Love with an improved O-line. Watch out, NFL. That's the thing. Like, Jordan Love playing outside of his mind right now. And I think we wrap up the article with that here in a second. We'll get to it in a minute. But, yeah, if this line gets even better, Tim, the sky's the limit for Jordan. I mean, he's already a top 3 quarterback this year. There's no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. And we've talked about this off and on the past couple of weeks, right? As soon as we figure out this line and get some, consistency, pass pro and running game, Jay Money's going to be deadly. He's already proven it. And I'd love to see that wall fully built, fully assembled, no holes in the wall, and let Jay Money do what he does, right? He wears number 10 because he only throws dimes.
Absolutely. Allison Tuckwab becoming a member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, Allison. Thank you so much. And Badger Trio, thank you for that super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. All right. Next section here. Short leashes. Next man up. All right. Let me explain what I mean there. Left side backup. Jordan Morgan should be the backup left tackle and left guard. No more experiments on the right side. It's all over the tape that Morgan is more comfortable at left tackle. So if Rasheed Walker continues to struggle, Matt LaFleur should not hesitate to give Morgan a shot to take over at left tackle, especially with Walker's struggles this year. Morgan can double as the backup left guard as well. So as it sits right now, I'm rolling with Sheed. If he continues to struggle, everyone else is healthy, let's give Jordan Morgan a shot at left tackle. I would like to see that. You see Rasheed Walker, his rookie year, 66.3. Last year, he jumped to a 68.7. This year, though, Tim, 4 games, I know, but 57.6. Really, really struggling. Now, that's very comparable. Jordan Morgan doesn't have a better grade than that. However, like we talked about, Morgan's been all over the joint. And when we seen him in preseason at left tackle, it was like, whoa, this dude, it's almost like you knew what he was talking about when he said, as soon as we drafted him, I want to play left tackle. I want to play left tackle,
I mean, he's been playing left tackle since what, 7th grade,
Right.
his whole life playing that spot. So clearly that's, the comfort zone for him. And, but yeah, it's tough because, Sheed has proven to be pretty reliable for us ever since the, David Bakhtiari debacle with the knee and everything. And, we kind of lucked out, with Sheed being a 7th rounder and being able to play effective football for us. But, at some point, you're right. You may have to make that move and take a shot on your first rounder out of Arizona there. If Sheed continues to, I hate to say continues to struggle because it's been kind of sporadic with him. It's not like, pull the fire alarm, there's an emergency, but you would like to see him play a little bit better. But I don't think it's panic mode yet for us at left tackle. But clearly Jordan Morgan feels the most comfortable at that spot on the line.
Yeah, Coach Lynn says, can we platoon at left tackle with Walker and Morgan? You probably could, Coach. I just don't remember that ever happening at left tackle. I think we've done it on the right. So I think we've done it at right. I know we done it at right guard. I think we did it at right tackle one year. But there's something about that blind side that, again, maybe there's no merit to me feeling like this, Coach, but I don't remember anybody ever platooning the left tackle, the blind side tackle position of a quarterback, So
Yeah.
I think they're probably looking for, hey, let's find the guy, let's keep him there. But I could be wrong, and who knows? That might be what they do now, Coach. Once everybody's healthy and Jordan Morgan, let's say they do go with Kennard at right guard and Jordan Morgan is now just sitting on the bench. Maybe they will start to platoon him at left tackle. I'd like to see it because Rasheed Walker's contract's up. You got Jordan Morgan under contract for 2 more years. If he plays as well or better than Rasheed Walker, which is what we would project him to do, then it's nice knowing you can let Rasheed Walker walk, no pun intended, walk in free agency, pick up a comp pick, and now you've got 2 years with Jordan Morgan proven is he the left tackle of the future or not. That type of thing. So,
Sure.
Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He said he would go Walker, Morgan, Elton Jenkins, Kennard, Tom. Sixth is Belton. I don't trust Banks and Ryan. I feel like Ryan is out of shape and gets tired. There's definitely a history there for Sean Ryan being out of shape. Now, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if it's the case this year or not. As you can see, the Nacho Libre look alike. The whole I don't trust Banks thing, I get it, Aaron. I get it, man.
Yeah.
The only thing that's keeping me from turning the page on that is where he's been so banged up. And I understand everybody plays with injuries, but I don't know, man. I would just like to see what I would hate to see happen, Tim, is have all that cap space sitting on your bench. And the only problem was he just never was fully healthy. And when he was, he could be fully healthy and you could be taking advantage of that, on the field. But I see what he's saying there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if that's kind of what he meant, maybe, like I don't trust Banks' back at this point,
Oh, man.
And it's like kind of like he's saying about Nacho Libre there, kind of gets tired quick, hands on the hip, might be a little out of shape. Those are things that can lead you to draw that conclusion. But as far as Aaron Banks goes, I mean, I trust him as a player, but you're right. How long is that back going to hold up? You think about the stress that you're under as a lineman, and look what we've seen thus far out of the sampling, right? We've had to rotate. Availability is everything in this league. Can't make the club in the tub.
Yeah. And as Coach Lynn says here, thank you, Aaron, for the super chat, buddy. Coach Lynn says with that contract, Banks will get the benefit of the doubt. No doubt about it. It's like a first-round pick. As Mark Tauscher said, first-round picks have to constantly prove they don't belong. Seventh-round picks have to constantly prove they do belong. That's just the nature of the business. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is, Yep. So, all right. Up next, we got a super chat here real quick. Aaron with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, my dream scenario is trade for Linderbaum, center of Baltimore. Man, I'll tell you this. Big E has struggled. He struggled at center. I don't think he'll be back next year. I think they'll move on and free up that cap space. And now the question becomes, do you go find the center of the future or do you move Zach Tom to center and let Anthony Belton slide into right tackle next year, having a full year under his belt? If you're telling me we could get Linderbaum in some kind of decent trade, Aaron, I'd be all for it, man. The only problem is it's probably going to take a fairly high pick to get Linderbaum. And if you were to do that, now we're already out our first round pick from the Micah Parsons trade. Now we'd be out of, let's say it's a second round pick it would take,
Right.
now you're getting to the point where it's like we might have to cancel our draft shows, and we know we don't want to do that. So
that's not going to happen.
Right. We'd be in here with 1 7th-round pick right there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Thank you for the super chat, Aaron. Appreciate you, buddy, man. I think that would be an awesome situation if you could get your hands on Linderbaum somehow. So, all right, right side backup, youth with upside or experience with a low ceiling. If there is one thing we know, it's Jordan Morgan was correct when vocalizing how he wanted to play left tackle, the position he played all through high school and college. He is not a right side lineman. With that being said, stop with the musical chairs. All right, and what do I mean by that, guys? Stop the musical chairs. Find your starting 5 and find your 2 swing tackles, your 2 backup tackles, and find your 2 backup guards. It may be the same person as the backup tackle or the same person as the backup guard. But when you say, okay, now we're going to kick Jordan Morgan over here, therefore we'll plug this guy in the starting spot there, there's too many moving pieces. And as I go on to say, I'm sure, let me finish this up. Anthony Belton should be the backup right tackle and right guard with Sean Ryan behind him. Belton is never going to improve buried on the depth chart behind a low ceiling player in Ryan. What I mean there, Tim, is these guys will never get used to playing the right side specifically or playing the left side specifically if they're constantly having to change the mechanics of moving around on the offensive line. You've got yourself in a good spot. You signed a bunch of players, right? You signed Aaron Banks. You went and drafted Belton. You've got these guys in-house. Let's let them focus on doing one side of the line good. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to constantly bouncing back and forth, because what sucks about that is you never really know what you've got. Does that make sense, Tim?
It does. Absolutely. And I look at Belton and I don't know, I almost feel like I feel about him like I do about Jordan Morgan, right? Pure right side. Obviously, right tackle, probably the strongest point for him. No problem kicking him to right guard, but anything further than that, I think you're cheating yourself, you know. And especially with young players, right? They have to develop in this league, and if they're constantly moved around, it's hard to get any kind of confidence at all.
Yeah. Daryl makes a great point here. He says Drew Dowman would have fit in that center role if Goody were to sign him, which he didn't. I was sort of hoping they'd sign or draft a decent center. Yeah. We were on the Drew Dowman fan page there as well, Tim. I remember us talking about that's the top center in free agency. If you could turn back the clock, right, and not sign Aaron Banks, sign Drew Dowman as your starting center, and you still keep Elton Jenkins at left guard, man, that seems a lot better, doesn't it?
Sure does. Too bad. Where did Dallman go? The Bears?
Yeah, the Bears. Yeah. That's right. And he may be playing like cheeks there. I don't know. I know it would have been nice to kind of see how that would have unfolded. Daryl, that's good memory there, buddy. And
that's a great point, because with having Elton at left guard, I mean, you could also kick him to right guard. You know, we're talking about these, struggles. Big E can play pretty much anywhere on the line, but primarily the interior, right? And then you've got guys that are primarily tackles. I can see that point, and either way, like we said, we got to figure out center at some point.
Right.
All signs point to it's just this year for Elton, and he probably walks next year. So, we're still going to have this problem at the end of the season. So we'll see how we can adjust going forward.
Yeah, and Coach Lynn makes a great point. Not sure how good Elton Jenkins would be playing at left guard either. I mean, he hasn't had a great year in about 3 or 4 years. Elton has, right? So that's a great point, Coach. It's not to say that he would have been dominant at left guard all of a sudden, and when the last couple of years he's been kind of above average, So I think it's a very fair point. All right, so let's talk backup center. So again, what have we learned so far? Or again, this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, and I'm sure many people disagree. That's totally cool. Let us know in the comments if you disagree. But the goal is stabilize everything. You got your starting 5 that we talked about. You got your backup left side guy, your backup right side guy. Now let's talk center. If for some reason you have an injury at center, right, and let's say that Elton goes out, and, he misses a game or two. Backup center, you've got 2 options. Sean Ryan is the obvious answer at backup center. However, an argument can be made to slide Zach Tom over to center if Jenkins goes down with an injury. Of course, by doing so, you create an endless game of musical chairs. My choice is Sean Ryan while also doubling as the 3rd string guard on both sides. So essentially Sean Ryan back up center. And then let's say Aaron Banks gets injured. Jordan Morgan goes in at left guard. Jordan Morgan gets injured. then put Sean Ryan in at backup guard on either side. Once you get to the third string of your offensive line, guys, which is kind of where we've been, there's not much you can do. You just kind of hang on for dear life and try to scheme around that problem. You know what I mean?
Yep,
so.
Absolutely. And hope somebody steps up and plays solid football for you in the meantime. That's all you can really hope for.
Now, if for some reason, right, we just talked about, I think the Packers will move on from Elgton Jenkins next year. If for some reason Elgton were to go down with an injury and you have to make this decision, if you look up and Anthony Belton's been playing good football and the practice tape is really showing up to the coaches that, man, Anthony Belton's playing great at practice, he's looking like he's ready, I would be okay at that point with moving Zach Tom to center and go ahead and get that project in motion, right, that we had talked about already. And now you've got your right tackle of the future in Anthony Belton. However, I just don't – I don't see that happening. I hope it happens. It's wishful thinking, in my opinion. But if Anthony Belton can prove, I can play right tackle in the league right now, and Elgton Jenkins were to go down with the injury, that would be the better starting five, I believe. It's just right now I kind of feel better about Sean Ryan playing center than moving Zach Tom to center. Now you've got kind of you're reducing that tier 1 position of importance at right tackle to, a limited second round pick in Anthony Belton. So
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Now, again, final thoughts. This is what I want to wrap up with here. Jordan Love's playing an MVP caliber quarterback now, and that's with an offensive line struggling in front of him. By making these adjustments, you create stability on the offensive line and minimize mental mistakes, i.e. penalties and missed assignments, by allowing these players to know exactly where they are being asked to play. That's the whole purpose of me doing this deep dive. I got up this morning, built a fire. We were sitting in the 40s down here, Tim. Got a little fire going in the fireplace, got a cup of coffee. I'm like, let me dig into this offensive line a little bit. And it just stood out like a roadmap to me. Like, this seems like it would be the stable way to go. Less moving pieces. Let these guys learn their trade on one specific side. And again, if you do that, Jordan Love's already an 82.6. He's playing like second half 2023 Jordan Love, MVP caliber Jordan Love. If you fix the offensive line, Tim, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to help us in all phases, right? The run game and the pass game. And again, we've talked about it. I agree with this assessment, man. It's continuity. It's one thing to move a guy from a tackle to a guard position on the same line or same side of the line as opposed to moving a guy completely over. We've seen musical chairs enough here to know that it doesn't work in the long run. But the minute we figure out, this O-line continuity, man, I fully expect Jordan's numbers to increase even more than they already have been.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the chat real quick. Ben Holden, I think Belton can be a Pro Bowl left tackle, but do the Packers want to build the interior for rushing? That's a great question there, Ben. And again, based off of that graphic that Aaron sent me, you're looking pretty decent actually, other than right guard. So that's where it's, making that decision of if you want to put Kennard at right guard or even Belton at right guard, right? Maybe that fixes that problem in the running game, because that was a results-driven graphic there talking about, the effectiveness of which gaps the Packers are running in. So, and people see that, Tim, and they think, well, Belton's a right tackle. He's not a left tackle. He actually played left tackle in college, right? So, just another example, man. I don't know what it is, but why the Packers are so obsessed with cross-training. And we talk about it every year in the draft. Like, don't even worry that dude's a tackle and we need a guard. They'll probably move him to guard. They'll probably move him across the line. It's just something they definitely think it's worthy of doing,
I wonder if it's just the transition from the college game to the professional level, and you want to at least throw a guy out there, move him around a little bit early in his career just to kind of see how he stacks up against that talent. But yeah, I'm with you, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If you got a guy that's comfortable and skilled at a position, you should be looking to get him there. I think, though, like to Ben's point here, Belton, possibly being a Pro Bowl left tackle. I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far to say that yet, but I would say Anthony Belton could be a true swing tackle, which is a rarity that you see in this league, a guy that could play left or right side and be effective. When I look at Big Escalade, man, I see exterior O-line, right or left tackle for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving along. Fishy Thing says next year, move Tom to center, draft a couple more tackles to see if they can leap from Morgan and Belton, and that's probably what will happen. Fishy thinks if they do decide to move on from Elton Jenkins next year, and they decide to kick Zach Tom to center, let's say that the center class is weak coming into the draft, they probably will take a couple swings at tackle again, no doubt about it, right? Because you're gonna have voids to fill for sure. You're gonna have Rasheed Walker that'll most likely be. I mean, we've heard Quay Walker's in contract negotiations. We've heard rumors that Romeo Dobbs in contract negotiations. We've heard nothing about Rasheed Walker.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes you think, all right, writing's on the wall. He's probably gone after this year. So there's a tackle spot you need to fill the void in. And I think what Fishy Things is saying, I think it's a great idea, Tim, is you go out and you draft you a couple of tackles. Who knows? Maybe one of those two tackles is better than Jordan Morgan or Anthony Belton, and they jump right into the role, and you're good to go. You just keep on trucking.
Yep. And this isn't the first time we've talked about kicking Zach Tom to center. It is the first time we're talking about it since he got his money. So now that Zach Tom is paid and secured, I think it is a realistic possibility to ask him to move to center because he's already getting that top tackle money that he wanted, right?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man, because like with Rasheed Walker, you hear some of the fan base, Tim, and they talk like Rasheed Walker is a top 5 left tackle, and it's just not the case.
Yeah.
He's a really good pass blocker, or he has been. But I mean, we've seen the look out Jordan run, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, how many times we gonna see that happen? Now you're seeing his pass blocking become suspect. He's never been good in the running game, so that's why I don't. If you could get him back for 6, 7, maybe $8 million per, I'd be okay with that. But I think he's going to want to hit the market, and there'll probably be somebody dumb enough to take the bait there. I mean, you remember John Runyon Jr. He was cheeks here for us, right? They let him walk in free agency, and he broke the damn bank going to New York. You remember that? Somebody will probably pay Rasheed Walker top money.
I would agree. And I think it's a great point, like you brought up about Quay and Rome, kind of being in the mix here, trying to get that done. I think all signs are pointing to only one of the Walkers is going to be a Packer next year, I think, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Fix the O-line, Jordan, or this is Coach Lynn says, fix the O-line, Jordan Love, rocket to the moon.
Yes, sir.
I think it was supposed to be a moon emoji there, but yeah, he's no doubt about it, man. The fact that he's playing this well behind a offensive line that's been injured and underperforming it really says a lot about where Jordan Love is as a pro for sure. So,
yep.
All right, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you're watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. What would be your starting 5 offensive line? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Maybe there's there's a combination that we're overlooking here. Let us know what you think, and make sure you subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. We were kind of talking about Jordan Love already, Tim. Someone on Twitter put up a tweet that says their handle is at MVP10VE. So at MVP Love, but a 1 instead of an L. Jordan Love on 3rd and long this year. You ready for this statistic? This reminded me of Aaron Rodgers in 2010. I remember there being a specific statistic on 3rd down where Aaron just dominated 3rd down. So this is 3rd and long, which is 7 yards or more to go. Okay, so a 3rd and 7 or longer. Jordan Love's numbers, 13 of 20, 65% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 243 yards passing, 0 interceptions. Every time we look at a new statistic, a new analytic, it lines up perfectly with Aaron Rodgers when he was 27 years old. Because, guys, we forget. We see Aaron Rodgers, the finished product. We see MVP, 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. We see Super Bowl MVP Aaron Rodgers, right? Reality is, if you go back to his 2nd and 3rd year starting for the Packers, he was not that type of player. That came really around 2012, 2013, and Lord knows 2014. If I remember correctly, 2014 was the year that just, boom, everything blew up. So I'm excited to see what Jordan Love can do moving forward, man. I think he is very, very underappreciated by the fan base, and definitely by the national media. I think there's still some media members that are going to be very, very surprised when they look up at the end of the year. And if he stays healthy and he continues to get these receivers back, Christian Watson coming back sooner rather than later, who knows when Jaden Reed will be back. Hopefully that'll be, maybe before the end of November. If that happens, Tucker Kraft is a top 3 tight end statistically right now in the league. If Jordan Love continues to do what he's doing, and everybody gets healthier and the offensive line settles in, you're probably going to be looking up and going, how the hell did Jordan Love get the 40 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions type season? So
Absolutely. I mean, you'd be surprised if you've been hating on him all this time, right? Guy like me is not going to be surprised. I've always felt like he was the real deal. And it's a great comparison when you look at Aaron, because everyone seems to think that Aaron just took over for Brett and everything was smooth and hunky-dory right away. And it really wasn't. And it's no different than when Brett got here and, took the reins from the Magic Man. That was a work in progress for a while before we, brought a Lombardi home. And, I think this is kind of where Jordan's at this point in his career as well. Development is a process, and he's as close as he's ever been right now. And I agree, Clay, like once we get the line going and figure it out, the sky is the limit for Jordan Love. Absolutely. I think it's not hyperbolic at all to consider him a potential MVP candidate, whether it's this year, next year. We talk about that 1 to 3 year window being open. And, we don't give a damn about MVPs. We want championships, but Jordan's playing at a high level. And once we get all the other pieces in place, we're going to go to the moon for sure.
Yeah. United Base says, can't wait to see Scoot back on the field, man. It's going to, if he's fully healthy and he hasn't lost a step coming off that ACL,
oh yeah,
you're going to see things really open up underneath, man. It feels like it's been forever since we got to watch him play football. I'm excited about that. No doubt about it. Let's take a quick look at the PFF grades before we wrap up. Well, since we were talking offensive line, let's just key in on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll focus on the defense tomorrow, Tim, if that's cool with you. So, all right, here's what we got so far. Jayden Reed, obviously only 23 snaps here, according to PFF, 89.9. You want to know why the offense is struggling, guys? It's no coincidence that as soon as Jayden Reed gets injured, now all of a sudden everybody's like, what's happening to the offense? You guys seen we talked about rushing, yards per carry. We talked about, the yards per pass attempt, all that stuff, points per play. They're still in the top 10, hovering around the top 10 mark in the most important categories there. But when Jayden Reed left him with this injury, you could see that offense really started to sputter. This was your number one receiver. And I just think it's hilarious. We had people last year trying to convince other people in the fan base that Jayden Reed's bad at football. My man he's the leading receiver for the last 2 years, both in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, if I remember correctly. Well, this year he started off strong, 89.9. Unfortunately, you broke the collarbone and you went ahead and had the Jones fracture taken care of with surgery. Second on the list is Jordan Love, 82.6. And look who's number 3, Tim, at 119 snaps.
Here's the guy, Mr. Kennard.
Darian Kennard, 77.6 PFF grade. Number 4, Josh Jacobs, 76.1. And then number 5 was 69 snaps, 75.4 Malik Heath. Tucker Kraft right behind him at a 69.5. Man, Malik Heath.
Look at my boy Malik Heath, man. Just creeping up here, man. I love it.
Every time he gets an opportunity, Tim, he seems to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and he's been doing it ever since he got here, right? I mean, This seems to be a running theme. Every time you give him a chance, he answers, Yep,
no doubt about it. Next on the list is Dontavion Wicks at a 64.5. I'm excited to see what he does moving forward, coming out of the bye. I think he's having a pretty darn good year. Seemed to have fixed the drop issue, which is huge. Next is Romeo Doubs at a 63.1. The reason I'm trying to pump the brakes on Romeo Doubs a little bit, guys, and I know everyone is fired up about it. And listen, the Guardian Cap memes are hilarious. It is top notch. The fact that I've heard so many people go, who's that guy with the big helmet? Man, he's good. That's what they always say. And his helmet, Tim, that Guardian Cap looks twice as big as the other Guardian Caps on the field, man. It's hilarious. So
hey, I don't care. 3 tutters a game. Wear whatever you want, Rome. Do your thing, brother.
And this is where you and I probably differ a little bit, and I definitely differ from the majority of the fan base. I like to look at a player and go, okay, yeah, they seem to be riding high right now. Everybody's all about them, okay? But I try to look at it and go, okay, if you remove one thing from their game, would they still be as popular, as effective? If you remove the touchdown catches, the 4 touchdown catches, and looked at his numbers, you'd be going, just another guy. But when you need a third down, boy, oh boy, does he step up big time. We just talked about Jordan Love's third down numbers. Yeah. I would feel very comfortable, Tim, saying that 70% of that production on third down was probably from Romeo Dobbs. And the other little bit is probably from Dontavion Wicks, who is another guy who's pretty effective on third down. Not to mention Tucker Kraft, but Romeo makes what he makes up where he lacks in overall yardage, overall statistics outside of touchdowns. Boy, does he make them up in third down situations.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what we talked about too with you always say that, right? Think play or not play. We've seen it time and time again with Jordan. That's where he's looking. He's looking to roam. He's looking to Tuck Norris. Jaden Reed when we get him back. And to your point, Tay Wicks is proving to be a reliable target on those third down situations as well. But I think it's something about Rome, man. Like you said, with we can talk about stats all day, and you're right. If it's not tutters on the board, if you took those away, what does he really look like statistically as a receiver? But the fact of the matter is you can't take him away because he keeps putting them up on the board. So, and I think Rome is one of our more reliable targets in the red zone as well, especially in the passing game. Whenever we try to do a little passing inside the red zone, but I'm with you. I think what we're looking for is that consistency from Rome, and maybe we're just at the beginning of it, and we're going to see this throughout this year, him making himself a case to be a Packer going forward beyond 2025, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Emmanuel Wilson, 62.6, John Fitzpatrick, a 61.3. Matthew Golden has cracked into the 60s, so he's a 60.9 now. I think he's going to continue to get better as the season goes along. He had one of his best statistical games there. I think the best statistical game in his young career was against the Cowboys, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I think he's a guy that's going to continue to get better. And once Christian Watson returns, I think you're going to see Matthew Golden really unlock a little bit. The thing I noticed about the tape is they put Matthew Golden in the F in Jaden Reed's place the majority of the snaps. However, there were several times that they put Romeo Dobbs there too. So you probably had some sets where you wanted to use the speed of Matthew Golden at the Z or at the X. And they said, all right, let's move Rome into the slot. I love the idea of Romeo Dobbs playing slot. I really do.
We got a little peek at that in the Dallas game, right? We saw a couple of those
all over the tape. Yeah, absolutely. So again, the fact that you can make those even more interchangeable, I would personally like Matthew Golden to play X and Romeo Dobbs to play slot with Jaden Reed out right now. And if Christian Watson comes back here against the Bengals or whenever he does, imagine Matthew Golden at the X. He's got good route running. We talked about his footwork all camp. He's got strong hands. He can catch the ball really, really well. In the phone booth, he actually played X in the preseason. I remember that.
Yep.
So you put him at X. You put Christian Watson at Z. So you got speed to Z at Christian Watson on the field side. And then you put Romeo Dobbs in the slot. Man, his ability to catch the ball in tight quarters too, and you don't have to worry about his lack of breakaway speed. That's not what the slot's for, right? Really, really like that idea there. We'll see what they do though, obviously, moving forward. So that's the other thing too, as Jen Wright says, Savion going to blow up some folks. Savion Williams, to me, he looks like he belongs, Tim. I don't know what his grade is. Maybe they got him graded kind of bad. 57.7, not horrible. So he's closing in on the 60 mark.
That's where you want your rookie to be, right? We always talk about 60 being the benchmark.
Yeah. When he's on the field, man, he just looks like he belongs. He really does.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And it seems like, obviously we're at the bye, but, the sampling we've got, obviously that shoulder issue that he was dealing with, coming out of college, going into camp seems to be fine. We see Savion blowing guys up left and right out there. Obviously that shoulder is a non-issue at this point.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him get out there. It seems like every time he gets the ball, he's looking to run through somebody's face too, and I appreciate that as a fan, no doubt.
Absolutely. And not afraid to go out there and block, right?
Right. Exactly. All right. There you go. There's just a quick glance. And again, if we had to say here are the top players on offense, let's remove Jaden Reed because obviously minimal snaps, right? Your top performers according to PFF, Jordan Love, Darian Kennard, Josh Jacobs, Malik Heath, and Tucker Kraft. Those are the guys that are really sticking out right now on offense. So we'll dive into the defense tomorrow. But Tim, you got anything else you want to hit on here before we wrap up, man? That's the offensive side of the ball. There's no reason for us to try to do the double episodes, guys. Obviously, it's the bye week. We don't want to burn you guys out. We want it to be quick hitter shows, ton of information for you, and get out. We don't want to waste your time. So, Tim, you got anything else, man?
OperationHorsesHeal.org/how can I help? big shout out, Larry Cano. Mr. Larry donated some money. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's been helping out. Obviously, this is a cause near and dear to all of our hearts here, really, on PTA, helping out veterans. All you got to do is donate. Use the code PTA in the comments. You got a chance to win an autographed Romeo Doubs jersey. Speak of the devil himself. Mama, there goes that man. We were just talking about Romy Rome in the house. You've got the whole month of October to support this great cause, which is helping veterans and their families, and trying to get as close as we can to that 30K mark to help Operation Horses Heal get a truck and a horse trailer so that they can bring these horses to the events. You know, they're on a wait list. They've had to wait list a lot of these events because they just can't get the horses out there. So do everything you can, scan that QR code, go to this link, and donate for your chance to win a Romy Rome jersey.
Yeah. And if you're watching on X, an easy way to find this giveaway, this promotion, and obviously this awesome opportunity to give to a great cause. If you just go to my Twitter account, click on my profile at Packers_access, you'll see a tweet that's pinned at the top of the page. I quote tweeted Tim, and in Tim's tweet right there at the top of my page is where that link is. If you want an easy access link from your phone, bang, it'll take you right there. You can make the donation there. And like Tim said, just make sure you put PTA next to your name as the donation, and we will get you entered into the giveaway for the autographed away white Romeo Doubs jersey that's got the certificate of authenticity, the sticker, all that good stuff. And that comes from pristineauctions.com. So again, just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting a great cause here with Operation Horses Heal. So Absolutely. Thank you for bringing it up, Tim. Appreciate you, man. Last thing here, Stacy Mitchell says, Clay, are you doing a live stream for a game tomorrow? I thought about doing it for the early game, Stacy. That's the 9:30 Eastern kickoff, 8:30 Central kickoff. The Vikings are playing. I can't remember who they're playing, but they're playing that early game tomorrow. I thought about doing one there, but honestly, I think I'm going to sleep in.
Attaboy. Sleep off that ice cream cake, man.
Bro, I'm hurting right now, man. It's just like I need one day out of the week to where I can finally I'm just crashing out, turn the alarm off. Like this morning, I talked myself into getting up early, building a little fire, grabbing a cup of coffee, getting settled in, do a little research on the O-line. I had a headache by 2 o'clock, and then I washed it all down with ice cream cake. So here I am miserable. So, yeah, I think we're going to sleep in tomorrow, Stacy. Now, you get the notification. If you get the bell icon click, if I do go live at some point, maybe I'll go live after halftime and just give you guys a quick update, talk a little ball. You make sure your phone gets dinged for that. You know what I mean? So it's possible. So yeah, there it is. Vikings and the Browns. That's who it is. Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate it.
Let's go Cleveland. Let's go Cleveland.
Yeah. Is uh-oh. I don't know if she's in here or not. Somebody says, Mandy, I think I'm in trouble. Yep, there it is. Yeah, look. Yeah. Sleeping in. There you go. It's hilarious.
It's in writing now. We got to hold you to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, that's it, guys. No show tomorrow. No show tomorrow morning anyway. We'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Tim, thank you for your time, buddy. Appreciate you.
Always blessing to be here, Clay. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Everybody have a great night. Y'all take care. I know it's Saturday night. The Brewers got their dub. You probably got a couple daddy sodas in you. You know the rules. If you drink, don't drive. Do the watermelon crawl. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.